No matter how many YouTube videos you watch, including mine, you won't make progress on your art journey without getting good, direct, actionable feedback. And instead of just yapping at you about it, I want to show you the result of some of my students from the first session of the Character Design Forge mentorship, which starts back up on May 3rd. Check the description to reserve your spot. The problem isn't that the information isn't being shared with you. What's interesting is that for many of my students, the thing they needed to work on was something they'd already heard about or known about. It might be something buried in a video that myself or someone else made 3 or 4 years ago. It isn't a lack of education, it's about application, and the result is a huge increase in speed. There's levels to feedback, ranging from the unsolicited opinion of strangers, which may be useful to know en masse as far as how your audience is receiving your work, all the way up to in-depth, qualified input over a span of time. I used to offer one-off critique sessions, which I still think are helpful, but the mentorship over 8 weeks of consistently checking in and offering feedback is what several of the students said was more growth in a 2-month period than the last few years of progress. These students were all in different stages of their art journey, and they all have different goals. For some, I lean more toward the role of art teacher, others more their art director. One of my earliest methods of tracking where they were was a set of gesture exercises. For Malcolm, this was an opportunity to work on observation, drawing what we see and not what we think we see, as well as shoring up understanding of construction. Take a look at the result of a construction study of his, based on Once Upon a Forest, one from the beginning of the mentorship and one from the end. Not only is there an improvement in line quality and resolution based on some of our other discussions, but you can literally see the intuition of the 3D shapes becoming clear from the first to the second. Or this character of his from before the mentorship to the final weeks of it. It isn't all just drawing skill related, it's also developing design instincts and making interesting choices to support the storytelling. Making interesting shapes and proportions was a key focus for the work with another student, animator Harry Green. His straightforward approaches to gesture studies were accurate, but when it came to stylizing their shapes, I chimed in.
So when we talk about shape, I just want to kind of get a little bit more in depth with that. Kind of like we were saying, try to cut kind of in reverse in a way that doesn't, undercut some of your stuff. Like there's sort of an 80-20 contrast where something like this forearm is 100%, going with this motion that we're trying to convey. And I think the 20% kind of cutting back, like a line there, things like that. You could even try and play with everything being sort of an S that meets a point or things like that. That's kind of, as far as shape is concerned, what we're thinking about is just the interest of curves and straights or points that are meeting.
Harry applied this shape diversity in his portfolio project, including the development of this character, who was based on and themed as an elephant. There were a lot of opportunities here for some of the repeating shapes being so large that they redundantly overlap with each other. I also encouraged him to diversify the shapes of the head away from a standard human head to one more influenced by the wide-set eye sockets and large bridge of the nose that an elephant might have. His next round of design was very elephant with this trunk goatee, but we aimed for a less is more approach on that, and reinforced this character's secondary theming, which was circus strongman, with some horizontal stripes. We made some similar adjustments with this canary-based character, adding some size disparity in the limbs to make them more bird-like, and to differentiate them from the other members of Harry's cast. The final result of Harry's cast design here is so great, and makes for an excellent portfolio piece, along with some callouts for various expressions, and some storytelling involving the monsters that they fight. I think Harry benefited the most from learning what his strengths are from observing it, and leaning into those, as well as figuring out what things and aesthetics really interest him to make sure that those passions came through in his work as well. He has so much talent as an animator, and I really look forward to seeing where his work goes from here. If you're someone who feels like they float or meander between different projects or disciplines, I'd highly recommend spending some time locked into one project or exploration to get the most out of it. Speaking of, major shout out to Austin, a student who really put in some reps on his exercises, assignments, and painting studies, proving that doing the bare maximum, if that's even a thing, can have a really strong result as far as your growth. And thanks to his voice notes, he can share his process with you.
So, when I was doing it first off, I was kind of struggling where exactly to take it. I was going through designs again. Like, what I really wanted for like the Shire horse one was, again, I want the character big, bulky, you know, because those horses are really bulky. So I focused to really keep with a bulky archetype. But I was really struggling with the armor, so I thought I'd try implementing a little bit of the horse stuff. So, because as well, like, I really wanted to make sure you could see her face, but not just the helmet, you know. I really wanted to really show off her face. So, again, I feel like I found a good balance between that.
I love a lot of the different ideas here. And yeah, we had a quick conversation about the horse heads. And by the way, I might as well just sort of spoil it now. This is just a very offhand idea I had, but because we had this horse head in here, it made me think about, you know, knights. Terribly drawn horse head there when I'm literally right next to one that I just did a draw over on. Thinking about, you know, the knight in chess, thinking about how the ball on top of a sort of skinny head was kind of bishop-like, the flaring scrolls here being sort of rook or castle-like here, and maybe you make your honey badger the queen because they just go wherever they want and don't care. That is a motif or an idea you could lean into if you wanted as a unifying factor. As a thought, the reason this came off as a bull, shape of the ears is one thing, but also how far forward this forehead comes and the amount of extra thickness of the neck and everything was reading very bull-like. Of course, it does become a little bit of a challenge then. How does it blend into the actual armor effectively? And I think the way to do that is really just to you know, pull it down a little bit into the shoulder so you don't have as much, you know, something along those lines where you don't have as much neck, because it needs to sort of taper into the shoulders pretty fast there. What I think is the best, I do like this sort of split, the medieval black and white there is pretty cool. I also think that as far as body shape wise, this sort of upper torso mass, like muscular build is good for the honey badger, and then you can go, I think, with the horse a little bit more in this direction. And what I like a lot is coming from this set of designs here. So I really like just a lot of really great call outs to the fact that, you know, the way this chainmail is coming over the knuckles kind of makes this look like a hoof. I think that's really great. You have this horse blanket texture that's also sort of like that quilted armor padding. I think that's great too. And I think particularly this head shape, this look, is probably the strongest for a horse. I think because you also have horse armor that is chainmail draped over the head like this. Like it reads very perfectly. And I don't think you necessarily need ears or anything like that to sell this. So my suggestion there is this sort of, you know, you could elongate the face a little bit and also have, you know, a mane of hair coming out the back, I think would be really cool. And I was thinking, like, along the lines to these, you know, these two coming together, I think there's a way here just to make this, like, if you're going to use this head, you know, longer and more dynamic shapes, and then pulling, where possible, a shape off to the side like this, instead of necessarily being echoed on both sides. Even though we're looking at it where, yes, you could see it on both sides, but I think from a shape perspective, that might be a stronger idea. I think it would be kind of cool, you know, hoof-wise, to sort of terminate earlier with some kind of shape that's wrapping around just the ankles, to make that shape kind of pop out a little bit more. Austin continued revising these characters forward into 3 options for each character, displaying different personalities and looks for each, which we then refined and picked aspects from on each towards the final designs. Austin ended up with a really strong portfolio project, and I can't wait to see where he goes next, building out his portfolio and strengthening his work. Along with some of the diagnosis we did on his creative practice and mindset, it was awesome to see the final result of someone who, ahead of the mentorship, was second-guessing and hesitant to keep making progress.
For me, it was really nice because it reunited my passion for character design so much. Like, it made me realize, like, why I became an artist. For the longest time, I struggled with, like, just actually having fun with a piece, and since I've done that course, I've just been, like, every piece now, I've just been, again, it's been fun. I enjoy doing the process. I love working on characters again, like, and as well, like, branching out even further, not just doing characters, but also, like, again, doing environmental design, weapon design. Like, it's given me more confidence in trying out those things as well. So yeah, I feel like the course really has boosted my confidence. Thank you so much for teaching me. It was great. But yeah, thanks a lot, Brookes.
We're starting the mentorship back up for round 2 with room for only 20 students total starting May 3rd. You get immediate access to the Learn Character Design course, weekly one-on-one meetings with me, and ongoing feedback and draw-overs on both the mentorship assignments and your own personal projects and portfolio. Before that, we're running a character design workshop this coming Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you'd like a chance at a character of yours being critiqued live, head to the link in the description below. Also this Monday, I'm starting up a new daily video series on YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikTok, so tune in for those. Whether you get feedback from me, from another qualified source, if you're feeling like you aren't making the progress you'd like to, it's probably because you can't see the thing you're missing, the way that another artist can. Remember that you don't know what you don't know, so I encourage you to seek it out. Thanks for the support on the last video, glad to be back in your subscriptions tab. Check out the book, the course, or the mentorship. Thanks for watching, and have fun creating, folks.